Today's Tavern Brawl is quite interesting. Choose your spellbook, pick 10 cards. Anytime you draw a card, you instead discover a copy of the card. So my instinct is that this is basically a constructed brawl, but you get to choose like almost always the best possible cards. So the question is, what decks win if you have like the perfect draws every single time? Is it aggro, but then they always have turn 6 Reno, and they always have like enough stuff to stop you. So I think it's not aggro. Is it Jade? Well, Jade does beat Reno decks, and if the games go long, then you'll always win. But will the games go long? And then apparently from what I've heard in the grapevine, Tempo Mage is really good. But I'm not entirely convinced by that. The theory with the Tempo Mage is that every time you draw a card, you discover, so you can like go off infinitely. If you have jnZaneHD, Sorcerer's Apprentice, and then a 0 cost or a 1 cost stuff. But I think that's a interesting place to start. Probably something along the lines of jnZaneHD plus Sorcerer's Apprentice is a really good place to try first. And you might even just throw in Reno and Kazakus in there anyways. So the theory is, if you get a jnZaneHD out and you get a Sorcerer's Apprentice out, then you can cast any cards which are 1 mana Allure for free, and then draw a card with it. The missiles. If I had like lots of cards with that, then the combo would never. If I had 7 cards with it, the combo would never fail, because I would always get 1 costs or lower. I'm not entirely sure this is the best way to go about it though. And you can always have a Frostbolt, probably good enough. You can always have a fast start still. I'm not even sure if Ice Block is necessary. I guess it's a cheap spell, and if you get, it's a cheap enough spell. You get enough Sorcerer's Apprentices out, then you can not die. And then final card, maybe Kazakus. Is there room for a Reno Jackson here? Maybe Freezing Potion is a bit too terrible. So with this deck, you can curve out like a Tempo Mage, but then you have control in the late game since you have like infinite Kazakus, Reno. I actually think this brawl is really interesting. Maybe eventually, like some super broken deck is found. Possibly it's been found already at the time of this recording. Maybe instead of this Auctioneer, you just run Intellects, because if you manage to pull Sorcerer's Apprentice times 3 plus Intellect, then you're good. This seems like such a fun deck. I'm sure like this looks relatively cookie cutter though. Wait, Ice Lance is no longer good in this deck because I don't have jnZaneHD. I guess I could just put jnZaneHD as a super late game infinite combo. Infinite, quote unquote? Arcane Intellect is kind of an infinite combo too. The goal, I think, is to come up with something that's both good against aggro, and like with Ice Block and Reno Jackson, I think I win all the aggro, and can be aggro, and can even be combo. So this is like a combo aggro control deck. That's kind of disgusting. Nah, we're fine. No, Kazakus is too slow. Kazakus is actually the weak link in the deck, now that I think about it. We need Ice Lance instead.
Watch your back.
You asked for it.
So this is so cool. It's like the Discover Brawl, which was one of my favorite ones, except you built a deck, and your deck is like really insane. It reminds me of Top 2 Brawl, except it probably gets ridiculous. Sure, don't mind if I curve out perfectly. So I guess at the beginning I just try to curve out perfectly, which will happen most of the time when you have like a 3 in 10 chance of drawing the best card in your deck. Well, yes, 3 in 10. And then overall, good enough draw as well. So I figure it's just going to be ridiculously strong decks matched up against each other, which means I think the best deck is a aggro control combo deck. And then you'll have to play on curve every single turn or you're just going to lose. I say as I play off curve. I mean, his board presence isn't a lot. Wow, this format is really interesting. He played a really weak card, so I think I can afford a slow turn. Oh, I thought each card draw like made you discover a card, but apparently you still have to play a 1-mana card. That's fine. Wow, that's actually potentially even better with Apprentice. That's even better than I thought. There's no way I lose. Checkmate.
This guy's toast.
Actually, I can pretty easily lose, can't I?
Someday I'll be just like you.
There's a lot of different ways to play this, play these lines. This brawl is actually even more interesting than I thought. I do think I happen to have a really strong deck right now. Should have played this first. Apprentice, maybe? There's like some orange, like this could actually be a pretty fun card game. No, I don't think my opponent has a great deck, but I feel like this is actually a game. Now, it might end up being that this is the only deck out there, but I'll play it a bit. I don't want to say this is the best deck, but it feels like it can do everything.
The Brotherhood shall come.
It's pretty tough to beat Ice Block in particular. And Reno is like a just in case card, which I'll happen to play here. Because you can't always chain discover Ice Block. A happy little deck this is. I just need to discover some Sorcerer's Apprentices.
I serve a fire lord.
Alright, so it's so cool. It transforms from an aggro deck to a control deck to a combo deck. How do you beat this deck? Well, I look forward to playing some more and then finding out. But that looked really good. And it can even outvalue Jade because you just cast infinite amounts of arcane missiles or ice lances or some such.
You asked for it.
One of the things I was actually just thinking about was, gee, maybe I should put in Kazan Mystic in the deck because against a mage, the best I can do is possibly draw if it gets into the late game enough. But then I figured, do I really want to shore up exactly one matchup? And I also thought they could run out of ice blocks also.
Let's make magic.
Ah, he's even more tempo magey. That card. Could pick Arcane Missiles and go for the Fitty Fitty. Seems okay. So this deck wants to try to hold some amount. Wow, never lucky. Some amount of early game presence. That is not good. Well, that is I guess that works out. Lol him. The big question is whether or not his deck will be running I'll get another Reno Jackson eventually. Whether or not his deck will run an Ice Block solution. And even if they do have an Ice Block solution, you have Reno Jackson. Mage just seems so good because the Peruse being 1 mana makes the Sorcerer's Apprentice so very good. And of course they have Ice Block. It's currently pretty tough for me to think up a better deck than Mage, but I'm sure as I play more of this Brawl, people will surprise me with their brilliant decisions. I've heard some things about Deathlord sabotaging the opponent's deck, which may or may not be intended. Okay, so I want a Sorcerer's Apprentice. Darn, never lucky. Did I put Frostbolt in this deck? I must have put Frostbolt in this deck.
Time runs out on me.
Sorcerer's Apprentice is definitely the powerhouse card in the deck. Well, Arcane Intellect is actually way better than I thought also.
I serve the Fire Lord.
Job's done.
I probably should throw in a Kazan Mystic. I think it's very possible that opposing, well, until I see it, I think I'm not going to do it. Until I see that opposing players are able to play with lethal. Kinda close.
To do.
Still just be right. I'd gotten
Runs out on me.
we were just looking for Sorcerer's Apprentice there. Sorcerer's Apprentice would have probably been pretty easy lethal. I was actually thinking, and this might seem insane after that turn, of cutting the Flamewaker. The reason being, the Flamewaker might just do unnecessary extra damage. It's possible. There we go. The girl.
Someday I'll be just like you.
I think it's really cool how you can refine the deck list by a lot in this matchup. I mean, in this game, basically. I guess you gotta play fast, huh?
Just like you.
So we're going to the attempted combo of I should probably play this for safety.
Runs out on me.
Can't lethal me. The mirror image is almost certainly a bad card. Heartland's portal is definitely too slow.
You are shivering.
Okay, should have lethal here without going infinite. Going infinite is just fun though, right?
I serve the Fire Lord.
Maybe the Flamewaker does belong in the deck. It lets you kill him a lot faster. But I didn't actually pull off the combo yet again of Auctioneer. What is required for the combo to go up? I need to have a Sorcerer's Apprentice out, then I play Auctioneer, then it's like a 10 mana combo, but this deck should be able to get to it. It's just sometimes you can win without it.
Jaina versus
While there's so many possibilities and cool decks you can bring,
You
I'm
asked.
kind of approaching it from a, gee, I think this is really the best deck. Someone come at me and beat it. And I can see like this deck with a Kazan Mystic beating this deck. But we'll see from there. Whoops! What? Alright, whatever.
who knows what secrets will uncover.
I guess I'll be very tempo here. Not entirely sure what his deck is trying to do yet. But we'll see.
Who knows what secrets will uncover. You win this time. Jaina!
I think the really cool thing about this deck, and I've said it at the first game, is that it's aggro and it's control and it's combo and it's value. So how can you possibly beat every single one of those aspects?
Shields off. Red alert. Shields failing.
Even against the decks that somehow are able to, what's the word? Get rid of your ice block, you still have the Reno backup too. I feel like I should be really secure against any aggressive deck, and against combo decks, I have a better combo. Possibly. But we'll see.
I serve the Fire Lord.
Ooh,
Flame on.
the miss.
Reporting for duty.
guessing that deck eventually plans on playing anyfin. It's basically an anyfin deck with a really good curve.
Hey, goons! Over here!
Oh, the informants are a cool way of possibly getting something new to beat stuff too.
Hey, goons! Over here!
I serve the Fire Lord.
I'm out of here!
Alright, so just doing some very nice and casual clearing. Eventually I'll get Gadgets and Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's not quite an infinite combo yet, but it would be close-ish. I can even stick with a mini combo to start. I think one of the small goals is to get a bunch of peruses in the deck first, in the hand. But I mean, I just keep bleeding them with just the aggro version so far. They don't even get to see the combo yet. Alright, at least this guy will live long enough to see the combo. Good for him. I wonder if he has a way to clear the Auctioneer in a faster way. I can also win by simply having one apprentice on the board beforehand. If the opponent is weak enough to not be able to deal with just that too. I think that's good enough for now. It's on 10 mana, I think I can almost always kill the opponent. I wonder if I can do it with this amount of mana. I think I should be able to since I have a Flame Waker.
I got the best deal someday I'll be just like you.
And I have a few peruses.
I consent.
With one more mana though, I would pretty much always win from there.
I must protect the wild.
You asked for it.
I have eventually need a Gadget Sand, but not until turn 10 or 8. So basically I either want to line up Gadget Sand with Apprentice on 8 or Gadget Sand Apprentice on 10, which should in theory win. So someone in chat was suggesting Astral Communion and Deathwing beats this deck. I will see. So that's clearly an Astral Communion and big stuff deck. I think it kind of depends whether or not it runs Kazan Mystic. If it does, I actually can see that beating my deck. But on the other hand, this deck is flexible in that it can play as combo or aggro, and I can just play Apprentice on 2 here.
What to do?
But he might play Deathwing.
Time waits for no one.
Should I play around Deathwing? Guess I can throw one out there. Can always get unlucky and discover Innervate, Astral Communion, and then like a not so great card.
The supreme archaeologist.
It's pretty solid. Don't need that ice block yet. Want more Apprenti? A 10 mana card shouldn't be that big a deal. It's not a very good card. Most of the time. Maybe he'll fill up the board. Heal 10. Alright. It's fine, it took his turn. It all depends on whether or not he runs Kazan Mystic. Pretty much. But Reno can still also save. So he's got 16, so if he discovers Kazan Mystic, I lose. But if I Ice Lance, then I don't immediately lose either. That's a pretty bad card to be running. It's just like cutesy. And I'm afraid cutesy won't work against me. I wanted to like really secure it. I guess I'll secure the win. Well, yeah. Because he could have Kazan Mystic. I'll assume he's a good player. Shall I? I'm really close to being able to combo him out. I think I'll wait it out one turn though. Also, you might not have an answer for double Apprenti. If I just freeze both. I wasn't originally intending to combo this turn. 3 apprentices will usually win me the game also. Alright, so all I need is that one. I think I'm gonna save the 0 mana spells. So if both of these stick around, then I win. If he plays Deathwing or something, then I'm still good. Alright. That's a win. And then it depends on whether or not he ran Kazan Mystic. Which could be which is a maybe. For sure. Okay. We're gonna have to go pretty fast here. Have to go fast. Wonder if I can actually pull this off in time. Also that I don't have enough time to pull off the full combo, especially since he's got a 27 health minion there. Okay, this might be a little too long. We're going. Oh crap, I can't queue up during arcane missiles. Wait, did that let me choose a card? It should random me a card. Alright, so I guess that's one of the weaknesses of the deck. Might not necessarily be able to combo them out. Which I guess is why you need the other cards. What the? Did it bug out on me? Do I have too many cards? 5... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Oh. Okay. Wait, how did I get more cards than I've been spending? I guess every single peruse gives me 2 cards, that makes sense.
Time runs out on me.
Oops. Okay, well, rip this deck. Hold on. I might have, there might be a slight flaw with this deck. It's possible. Okay, the Guardian Auctioneer gives me too much value. I should probably take the, what's the word?
Time runs out on me.
So this really just depends on whether or not he runs, no Sorcerer's Apprentice in any single one of these draws. Never lucky. I guess what I can do is use the Gadgets on turn to just draw a bunch of cards like Miracle Rogue, and it's probably not going to be an infinite combo them out.
Minions, servants, soldiers of the cold dark.
But it got me there even though this was like really rough and messy. So what I need to do, I guess, is use the Gadgets on turn to line up a bunch of Sorcerer's Apprentices and Peruses and Arcanes. And that's probably the key. 3, 6, 10. 3, 6, 9, 13. So this deck could have beat me, but I think I played it, well, I mean, I played it very wrong. And he doesn't run Kazan Mystic. But as I queue up in Brawl and rank up, people will be running ways to disrupt the ice block, I'm sure.